Good afternoon, and welcome to K2's Road to Excellence with Word Series Part 1 and Intuit. This is Alan Salmon speaking, and I'm so pleased that so many of you have been able to join me on this beautiful July day in Brampton, Ontario. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. My good friend Marilyn Benninger is backing me up today as usual, and she is your go-to person for technical problems and controlling the questions. Your microphones are muted for obvious reasons. Feel free to take notes, but be aware that within 10 days of today's webinar, you will all receive a copy of the recording, my teaching notes, my teaching files, and the answers to all the questions that you ask. And speaking of questions, you do them through the chat window, and Marilyn records them, and after the webinar, she will send the questions to Jeffrey and myself. And when you get your package, you will get a PDF document that has all the answers and all the questions. One final thing, 4 times today, Marilyn will be stopping the two of us and putting up a polling question. For those of you that are new to the webinar, that is a multiple choice question, usually with 4 answers. And you don't have to get the answers right. What you do have to do is select one of the answers, because that digitally marks your file. And if you're marked as answering 3 of the 4 questions, you will get a certificate for 1 verifiable hour of CPDs. If you don't, you'll get 1 for an hour of non-verifiable. And so now on to today, where we break away from Excel to focus this time on Word. And all of you, I assume, are working in Word, but there's a lot of tips that will save you a huge amount of time, and that's what I want to cover today and in the second session of this in September. So Marilyn, will you please put up the first polling question?
Absolutely, Alan. So folks, you'll be seeing a poll there. When it comes to using Microsoft Word, please select all that apply. Sometimes you work with long documents. Sometimes you use style. Navigation pane. Ooh, maybe you know how to use a table of contents. And maybe some of you are in the none of the above category. Really appreciate your feedback. And as Alan mentioned, 3 of 4 questions answered earns you a verified PD credit. We're right at 90%. Thanks for your responses. I'm counting you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to close the poll and share those. Do you see those results, Alan?
I certainly do. The one that interests me, Marilyn, is the navigation pane. I'm surprised that 28% have found it, and take that as a pat on the back, by the way, because that's one of the neatest tricks in Word, and I'll be dealing with that shortly. So without further ado, let's go here and pull this up. Nothing magic about this. It's 2 pages, 673 words, and I don't like the titles, or the heads as we call it, and 34% of you will do this. You'll go here, you'll change this to something, Arial Black, maybe 12, and you'll go down here and do the same thing, or you may do this trick, which is to go up here and double click on the format painter, come down here, and do this. And I won't go any further. Does it work? Absolutely. But is it too much work? You betcha. So let's see the same diagram. And this time I'm going to draw your attention to the style section up here where you see normal, you see title, you see heading 1 and heading 2. So I'll just highlight this and I will make it a title. So what's happened? Well, it's made it Calibra Light 36. Let's go down here and let's change this one to a heading 1, which is Calibra Light 18 points. And in the interest of speed, I'm going to do this. And there we go. Let's pretend that Marilyn has sent me this document using styles. And I say, I don't like this. That's not the way I want my heads to be. So what do? Well, I go up here to heading 1, I right mouse click, and I go modify. I don't like that light blue, so let's make it black. I don't like Calibra Light, so let's make it Arial Black. And let's make it 14. Now, I want you to watch underneath this welcome when I click on OK. Well, that's kind of magic. And notice, there we go. Now, this one didn't change because I didn't format it. So understand why every document that I do, I use styles, because if I need to modify it, it's really easy to do. But what if I want to create a new style? Well, I go down here and create a style. And I'm going to call it Alan. And I'm going to modify it. So we'll make it blue. We'll make it Arial Black 16. And we'll center it. And I will click on OK. That's kind of cool. But now focus your eyes up here in the style. So notice there's the Allen style. Now another thing that I want to show you here that was on the screen, but I didn't point it to you, is this. I'm going to go to modify this. Okay. And I want to focus your eyes down here to these check boxes. Add to the style gallery, which you saw, but that only applies in this document. But notice new documents based on this template. So if I click there, my new style plus all of my other styles will automatically be there when I open a new document. And that's a huge time saver. So let's cancel and let's go on to the next one. Once we've got styles, then I can do some things with it. And you remember that I pointed to the navigation pane as being important. Here's why. It's to be found under the View menu. And right there. The instant I click there, Here's my navigation pane. Now, these are all Head 1 styles. So, a great way to manipulate or to maneuver through a document. And this one's kind of long. However, here's another big advantage of using the navigation pane. I tend to write fairly quickly, and I don't always get things in the right order. So in this case, where are my libraries should have been before file history. Well, that's not a problem. I just click there with my left mouse and drag it up. And notice now that my libraries are before my file history. Or I'll do that. So that really saves some time over the traditional way of doing this, which would be do a cut and do a paste. There's some other benefits of styles. And let's go to my next file right here. And this is 25 pages. So I'm going to go down to page 2 right here. And I'm going to delete this because I don't. I'm going to delete this. And that should have done it, which it did. So I'm going to introduce a new page here. Control Enter. I'm going to go up to the top. And by the way, this document is properly done with styles. So we'll go here and we'll go to References. And over here we have Table of Contents. And I've got 3 ways of different styles of my table of contents. And if I don't like that, I can do a custom. I tend to prefer this one. So I'll click on there. And I don't have much there. So I'm going to go here and grab another document, which is the manual that you're going to get. And there's the table of contents. Okay. Now, sometimes we'll get this. Now, why did I get it? Because I've got a wrong style. So I'm going to go to here and go down here and see if I can fix it. And I'm going to fix it by making this the normal. And then I'm going to go back up to my table of contents. And I'm going to update it. And that's pretty easy to do. I right mouse click and I go Update Field. I want to update the entire table and still didn't solve the problem. And the reason for that is the fact that I didn't go down far enough when I made it normal. If that had been done, this would not appear. But you see how easy it is to do a table of contents. And here's another use of style. Oh, by the way, while we're here, let me do this to show you something impressive. I'm going to go down here to some normal text like this. And I'm going to right mouse click on normal. And I'm going to right mouse click on modify. And I'm going to leave it as normal, but I'm going to make it Times New Roman 11. Done. So there's 33 pages done at the click of a button. Next, one final thing in this area, and that is bookmarks. So what is a bookmark? Well, it's just like the old paper ones. So let's go down here to something that I want to turn into a bookmark. Okay, so I'm going to highlight Show in Groups. I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'm going to go over here to Bookmark. And I'm going to bring this pane down. And one of the things that's weird about bookmarks is the fact that you can't have a space. So I will do Show in Groups. And I'll click on Add. And then I will go back to my bookmarks. And what do we got? Well, I've got 3 other bookmarks here. I've got Johnson, so I'm going to go to Johnson, and there it is. I've got K2E website. I'll go to there, and the one that I just did. And I'll use those for quick navigation. But I'm going to do something else with this. Most of you, I suspect, convert Word documents to a PDF file. And when you do that, all of your links, meaning your table of contents, work in the PDF file. But there's a trick to getting your bookmarks to work. And the trick is this. I'm going to go to File, and notice Save as Adobe PDF. And that's a logical thing to do, but that doesn't work. So I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to save it as a PDF document. But then underneath here, you can see more options. So I'm going to click on More Options. And I'm going to click on Options down here. I'm good with that as my bookmark name, but I want to do something here. And I've got to bring down this. And I want all, publish the document, create bookmarks. Now, this one's a strange one to understand. You'll notice that I have word bookmarks here. I don't have headings. The reason for that is I don't need headings. They're created automatically. But if I don't do word bookmarks, then they won't translate. So let's go O and save. And there we go. So here's my file. Like this, and over in the left-hand corner, I've got these 3. So these are page thumbnails, and I can widen this, by the way, if I want to, like that. Gives me a screenshot, and by the way, I can do this in Adobe, and I've changed things. The second bullet, or icon, shows me my bookmarks. there's my Johnson one. Click on it and I'm there, and so on. So I use that trick when I use bookmarks in Word, which I do in large documents fairly often. Let's move on. Now you're seeing a blank screen here, and I'm going to start typing. And I'm going to type about the. And I type pretty fast, 125 words a minute, 25 accurately. And you notice that I have forgotten the space. Well, interesting. Microsoft fixed it up for me. Then I'm going to type in ASI and watch what happens. Let's try K2. I thought I had done these. Okay, so what I showed you there didn't work. It will shortly. What we're dealing with here is autocorrect. And by the way, this works in not only Word, but in Excel. So I'm going to go to the File menu, and I'm going to go down to Options, and I'm going to go to Proofing. And there's my autocorrect options. So right off the bat, you got a bunch of choices. Do you want to correct the 2 initial caps? Again, speed? Yep. Do I want to capitalize the first letter of sentences? Well, that's kind of cool. I just keep typing, period, space, and the first letter capitalizes it. Usually I want to capitalize first letter of table cells, names of days, and absolutely correct the accidental use of cap locks key. And then we get this, some symbols. So if I type bracket, space, bracket, or bracket, C bracket, I will get the copyright symbol. Do bracket, E bracket, and I'll get the euro symbol. And then down below, Microsoft has figured out, and there's about 100 of these, the way I tend to screw up. So you notice if I type about the, it puts the space in. And if I can't remember my grammar school rules, I before E except after C, or something like that, it will correct it. But more important for me is this. I thought I'd created this in advance, but I didn't, so I'll create it on the spot. Nancy and I have a company called A&A Holdings, Inc. So I've typed in A&A, and I'm going to type in A&A Holdings, Inc. I'm going to click on Add, click on OK, click on OK, and type in A&A, and there we go. So let's go back here to File, Options, Proofing, Autocorrect. So in here, if you've got a long firm name or any other things that you use over and over, I think it's worth the time to go in and take a ANA, ASI, and replace it with the full name. Now, the one downside to this is the fact that it's got to be all on one line. You can't do A&A Holdings, Inc., Unit 10, 8550 Torbram Road, etc. But it's highly useful. And then to wrap today, I want to do two more things. I want to go here to, whoops, I want to go here to a blank document. Now, I'm going to go here and show you this. So that's an Excel file. It happens to be a balance sheet. And I want to get this into Word. I'm only going to copy this because it doesn't matter that if I do this case that I do the whole thing. And I'm going to do a Control C. And now I'm going to go back to Word. And let's do a standard paste. Wow, that's not acceptable. Notice the alignment. Notice the dollar sign. So I will never do that. What will I do? Well, I'll go to Paste, Paste Special, and I'll pick one of these things. There's a definition of each of them in your little manual, but I'll tell you this. I use either Microsoft Excel worksheet object or a picture. Usually Microsoft Excel, the difference in the two is not great. There we go. So now it's formatted correctly. It doesn't quite fit on my page, so I'll just make it like that. Can I make a change? Sure. But to make that change, I need to do something else. And that something else is paste it exactly the same way, but with this difference when I do the undo here. So again, paste special, Microsoft Excel document or worksheet object, but I'm going to click on, instead of the paste link. Now you're not going to see any difference here. It's exactly the same thing. But watch what happens when I double click. I'm back in the original Excel document, and I'm going to change this to 500 and come back to my Word document. Cool. So the two files are interconnected. Now that's the case where I'm doing a worksheet or a piece of a worksheet and bringing it into Excel. There are times when I will bring in a single cell. So I have this Word document, come on, there we go, right here. And it's a financial summary. So in my opening paragraph, I have all financial summary information is in thousands of US dollars, total sales revenue of the division, and I want the division name there for the year ending. The year ending date amounted to that. I'm only going to do one of these. So in here, I am going to put in the annual revenue, which comes from this document. So there's my 2017 annual revenue. I'm going to do a Control C. I'm going to come back to Word, to here, and I'm going to highlight this like this. And again, I'm going to go to Paste Special. Now this time, I'm going to go to unformatted text. Now why? Because when I bring that number in, I want it formatted to the same format as the text. And watch. There it is. So you'll notice that this is Cambria 14, and this is Cambria 14. Now, in the fall, I'm going to spend a whole half hour on moving data between Excel into Word and into PowerPoint, but that's just a quick summary. So Marilyn, I'm done. Can we please see the final poll?
Thanks, Alan. Another great job. All right, folks, we're now launching our last poll, and we're just switching up gears. It's about Excel. I think Alan is hinting at something that's coming with our next webinar. So which of the following Excel tools and functions have you used? You can select more than one. Offset, checkboxes, combo boxes, radial buttons, or maybe none of the above. We're already at 85%, so I'm going to count you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'll be closing the last poll now. And there are your results, Alan.
Interesting. I'll take a further look at that when I see the report. That doesn't surprise me. So what I'm going to do in the next Excel session in August is focus on some advanced functions. The offset function is highly useful in certain cases. And then the checkboxes, combo boxes, and so on are just a nice enhancement to the worksheet. Well, that wraps up my session for this morning. So Marilyn, it's time to do the handoff to Jeffrey from Intuit. Take it away, please.
Thank you for this opportunity, Alan and Marilyn. Just want to talk quickly about Profile. If you're not familiar with Profile, it's a professional tax preparation software, and it works seamlessly with QuickBooks. So I'm just going to talk briefly about Profile. So making the most of Profile is going to be my topic for today. Let's see if I can switch the screen here. Okay, perfect. And my name is Jeffrey Kosin. So I've been working with the company for about 5 years now as one of the trainers, and I do help out with the agents on the front line just to make sure that they're answering the questions the correct way. So as we get started, the main question that our preparers have is, as a preparer, how do you spend your time? Most of the time is spent on 65% of the time is chasing client data or entering and researching the information. Let's see if I can pause this. Sorry, folks. So entering and researching the data, and most people want to save time and make sure that their returns are accurately done when they do prepare a return. 65% of the time, too, again, is being spent on chasing data, but most of our accountants, 1/3 of the accountants spend their time on the year-end processes, making sure that if there was any corrections made, that they would correct them and making sure that everything is okay. This is Profile. Profile, it has become one of the top tax preparation softwares in Canada, and we pride ourselves on that. There's other softwares out there like CanTax and Tax Prep. I'm sure you're familiar with those, but we pride ourselves as being #1. So today I'll talk about top 10 reasons why our customers love our software. But before we get started, with e-filing returns, you have most of the returns last year, about 16 million e-file returns were e-filed, and about a good percentage of those returns were e-filed through our software profile. One of the major reasons why our customers love our software is the ability to be able to work with the software, whether it's current year, whether it's prior year, and we go as far as 1997. So you can work with the return as far as 1997. I'm hoping none of our preparers do have that situation where they have a customer come in and ask them, hey, I haven't done my return since 1997. That's just silly. And most of the time you'll have customers come in, maybe they haven't done their returns for 10 years back. They may come in for T2 returns, or they may come in for T3 or FX, and those are modules that are available through our software. So that is one of the biggest highlights with our software, and that is being able to work with the software without opening up the other modules. It's built within the single software. So if you purchase this year's module and software, you can go as far back as 1997, and there's no extra cost to that. Okay. Okay, moving forward to here. Oops. Sorry, folks. Let's see if I can move forward. There we go. So creating prior year returns again, you can go as far back as 1997. Number two reason why our clients love our software is the ability to carry forward files from other softwares. You could do it through our software like Profile, T1s, T2s, T3, FX, but you could also do it through TurboTax. You can take a TurboTax file and carry forward from prior year, CanTax, Tax Prep, and DT Max. Third reason would be the ability to now import from CRA. You would definitely need to be able to have the authorization for your client or from your client to be able to retrieve their data from CRA. And that saves you time in going through all the T4 slips or any kind of carry forward amounts. All you'd have to do is just, with that authorization, log into the CRA website, download and import the data from CRA, and it gets imported directly into the return and saves you a lot of time and keeps you accurate when you're preparing returns. Number four reason, and we really pride ourselves on this, is the auditor. The auditor enables you to work on a return, and if there's anything missing or if there's anything that is wrong with the return, the auditor is going to highlight those errors or suggestions or warnings or issues within the software and make sure that you do have a return that's accurate and that you're able to e-file the return with no issues. If you do work with QuickBooks, you can take the Giphy import from QuickBooks and import it into a T2 return. So you're able to go from books to tax. Moving forward, if you do work with QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant, you're able to take that Giphy through QBOA and import your Giphy into Profile. So if you're working with desktop, you can do the Giphy import. If you're working with QBOA, you're able to do the import for Giphy, and you're able to also do it with Caseware or Simply Accounting. All you'd have to do is export the Giphy from those softwares and import them into Profile. Another one that we have a new feature on, which has come out in the last few years, is cloud backup. I've spoken to many clients, and one of the concerns that they have is, what if my system crashes, or what if something happens to my system, or what happens if my file gets corrupted? What can I do? There are a few features within Profile. There's a backup feature, but you can also use this new feature that's come out the last few years called Cloud Backup. And that enables you to toggle something within the return, or letting Profile know that you'd like to back up the file up to the cloud. And all you need to do is just toggle it within the file properties of that return, and Profile will save a backup of that return up to the cloud. And of course, you would need a Profile review account, and this is all included within Profile. So if you ever have any concerns of losing a file, you can either use this backup feature, or there's also another backup feature within Profile that's already built in. Again, no extra cost to you. And the last couple of years, we've also included something called Refile and Express NOA, and that enables you to e-file an amended return. So you can e-file a return if you had to add a T4 slip or something needed to be changed within the return. You can refile that return through our software. There's also a feature called Express NOA, where within a certain amount of time, usually about 24 to 48 hours, you're able to log into the CRA My account, and you're able to see the NOA of the return instantaneously. And reason number 8 is flexible licensing. This is something that our customers have been asking about, and it enables you to be flexible with your licensing. It enables you to be mobile with your licensing. So you can use numerous computers in your office. Like, for example, I've had customers that have a desktop computer, or they may have and they have a laptop, and they have another backup machine. And according to their budget, they're only able to afford one license. Well, with flexible licensing, you could use that one license, activate it on those numerous machines, and be able to go hop from one machine to the other. All you'd have to do is enable the flexible licensing, and you'll be able to close Profile, go to another machine with that same license, and close Profile again, and then hop onto another machine. So it gives you the ability of using multiple computers in your office and only using one license at the time. So you have the ability to go manual or automatic.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Yes, go ahead.
I wonder if it's a good time for our first poll.
Yes,
so that we
definitely.
can offer verified PD credits, if that's all right with you.
That's
all
fine.
Right. Okay, folks, we'd just like to get a sense of who's with us today. And if you're using tax preparation software, if you wouldn't mind choosing one of the 4 there, or possibly you're not using any software now, and then that would be your last option there. Everybody's wide awake this morning. We're going to go count you down because we're at 90% voting. Thank you so much. At 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm closing the poll now. And I'm just going to share the results. 12% tax prep, 10% Cantex, 8% tax cycle, 13% profile. There you go, Jeffrey. And 57% folks today are either using something else or nothing at all. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. So number 8 reason we talked about. Number 9 reason is something that we have applied to as a data management tool. We used to have classic Classic Database and Client Explorer, and we found that Classic was a little bit archaic, and Client Explorer has, even though it has a lot of robust features within that data management tool, it can be quite overwhelming. So we created something called Hub, which applies to 2015 returns and current, and are able to see your client's returns in a very easy to use user interface. So Profile Hub is something that we have as another data management tool that's a lot easier to use. It doesn't have the functionalities like Client Explorer, like reports and filtering, but it gives you enough to be able to look at your client's files quickly and be able to access your client's files quickly. Okay. Link is a collaboration tool that works seamlessly with Hub, and that is something that we have included also within the software. It now works with T2's, so now you can work not only with T1s, but also T2 returns. And the last, of course, reason that our clients do come back every season is our support. We pride ourselves for the last few years on how great our clients have given us feedback on how helpful we've been with them. And I've heard many times our clients come back and say, we love your software, but we love that you give us amazing support. Whenever we have a question, you always find an answer for us. And so we really appreciate our customers for that feedback, and we pride ourselves on that. We are able to help our clients either through email. Within 24 hours, we're able to respond. Phone is pretty much instantaneously. Live chat, live webinars is something that I offer Tuesdays and Thursdays for those who are learning more about Profile. And we also have a guide and how-to videos to help you learn quickly on the software, because it could be very overwhelming. Profile is a very robust software when it comes to learning, so we pride ourselves on giving you as much material to learn about the software as quickly as possible. And I just want to mention a few things that are up and coming for the season. This would be for the 2019 season, is the T2 filing. So you can now file, in case you didn't know, you can file the RC59 and the RC59X. One gives you the authorization to be able to access your client's data and import the data into a T2 return and do your autofill. One is for authorization, the other one is for cancellation. The RC59X is for the cancellation. So now, moving forward from the last couple of versions, you're able to use this feature where you're able to file the RC59, RC59X, and autofill your client's returns. I think you can, I'm not sure if you're able to do it through the other softwares, but this is actually something that is available through CRA now. Profile 20 is for those who are winding down their career in tax preparation, and they don't want to take advantage of the unlimited version of Profile. They still do tax preparation for family and friends, and they know that they won't be creating more than 20 returns in a season, so they purchase Profile 20. And so we now have that available for our clients, that they can purchase Profile 20 and work with 20 returns within the season. We, with our T2 returns, we have changed our UI. We still have our UI, our old UI available to our clients, but we've moved forward with a new user interface which enables our clients to use the interface that is much it's user friendly and it's a lot easier to work with. So we've changed that. We still are in the phase of letting our customers use both. If you're used to the old interface, then you can use that. If you like the new user interface, you can continue using it moving forward. So as a recap, 65% of our tax preparation is spent on chasing client data and making sure that things are accurate. A third of our clients' accountants' time is spent on year-end processes, making sure that they have everything done properly, they've covered all areas, making sure that if there had been any amendments done, they do the amendments and finish up on their season. And a typical inefficient year-end process looks like this. You have a small business in accounting software, and in the past, there was a gap between accounting software and tax preparation software. And what we've done is we've worked with and made sure that we've bridged that gap between the accounting software and tax preparation. So Profile and QuickBooks work great, whether it's desktop or QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant. So this has been our vision to save time through integrated Intuit ecosystems, where you can move from QuickBooks Online into a tax return. So using that data from your QuickBooks or your income statements and bringing that information into tax software. And so this is something we pride ourselves on, making sure that QuickBooks and Profile, whether it's desktop or online, work perfectly together. And I think that's it for me for today. Just want to thank everyone, and I want to thank Alan and Marilyn for their giving me the time today. And I think there might be one more question. Marilyn?
Definitely. Thanks for that. Yep. Thanks for that, Jeffrey. All right, folks, this is the second of 4 poll questions that you'll receive. If you're using some tax software, you can identify your favorite features. Maybe it's the CRA import, data management, client collaboration, batch filing, or again, if you're not using some tax software or you have another favorite feature, that would be your last choice. Everybody's wide awake today. Happy to vote. I'm going to count you down now from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're closing the poll. I'm just going to share those results with everyone. So, favorite feature looks like CRA import, 36%. And there's a bunch of folks today on the webinar who may not be using tax software or didn't see their feature. Thanks very much for that, folks.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And thank you, Marilyn. And thank you to all who are in attendance. As usual, you'll have a short survey to do when you exit from the webinar. Look forward to seeing all of you again in August. So that's a wrap.